guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to another video of ours. Just want to talk about, I suppose, the Pyro. Pyro, no party. No Pyro, rather, no party, it says in the thumbnail. So just been a bit of discussion lately as to whether they should be allowed, basically, into League of Ireland grounds or not. And Daz is here as well to discuss it. So I'm going to go through an article, Daz in the Sun, from a couple of days ago from Aaron Kozar. And he says League of Ireland facing firework conundrum following Shamrock Rovers stadium ban as FAI seek to change pyro culture. Now, of course, this is the situation Shamrock Rovers when they played against Waterford down in Waterford, and basically they set off a firework display, and they were like rocket launchers, if you like, and they were hitting the roof and coming down and hitting people. Kids were scared and stuff like that. Went out into the pitch. A few players were struck, I believe, as well. I don't think anyone was seriously injured, but there were a few little injuries in that as well. But, the difference here is, like, I'm just reading some of the article here as well, because some of it doesn't apply to what I want to say, really. But this was actually a firework, basically. It wasn't pyro. The difference is a firework is fireworks. You let them off and they go all over the place and they could go anywhere and you've no control. They had another gadget that was similar to a rocket launcher, basically, that was firing out fireworks everywhere. So people bring flares to the games, they light them up, and it looks deadly. It's displayed well, etc., etc., etc. I suppose, first of all, what are your thoughts on this? Because the FAI have kind of suggested before that they could consider banning pyro, etc. What are your general thoughts?
I actually thought, Keith, for a long time that pyro fell under the category of fireworks, so I didn't think they're actually allowed at all. But obviously, they're always all around League of Ireland grounds, and I think firstly they look great. It adds to an atmosphere. No matter where you go, who's playing, it adds to the atmosphere. And I've been at many a Bows Shamrock Rovers derby, Shamrock Rovers Bows derby, where Bows has scored, there'd be red flares in the air. Then 5 minutes Rovers has scored. Next minute there's green flares in the air, and it looks great. Now when you're sitting in the stand and you're looking over their bar and they score and they're waving them around, they're real happy. But apart from that, I think, when you're looking back at match highlights, the atmosphere looks fantastic. You're looking at the Bows fans, they're waving all the red flares in the air, and the Shamrock Rovers waving their ones in the air, and it just really, really adds to it. But I think, like what you said, people really need to understand there is a complete difference between a firework which you launch off in the air that could go anywhere and hurt someone, or a flare that lights and it just is kind of, it's just lights, it's just a different
color. A firework could take your finger off, basically.
Pretty much. And then the flare would be like, a more high profile sparkler, shall we say. It's not really, it doesn't really have the potential to hurt someone as much as a firework would. And it
can also be controlled. So if someone throws a flare on the ground, it's not going to go all over the place. It'll be in that controlled, confined environment if a flare is thrown on the ground, let's say. Whereas a firework, as you say, you've literally no control of a firework.
No, especially the fact that a firework could go off wrong and it could go anywhere. It could hurt someone really seriously. A flare could hurt someone too. Let's be real about it. It could, but nowhere near the level of firework. If you have a small kid or someone, God forbid, in a wheelchair, and a firework comes and strikes them, it could do some serious damage. And we've all been told in school and everywhere, a firework can take off your finger, and it can, and it can cause some serious damage. But not only that, Keith, the player welfare as well. If you have a goalkeeper in goals and he doesn't see it coming at him, you could really hurt him. And I think fireworks, anyone that lets off a firework in a football stadium is a disgrace. It shouldn't happen. It's just wrong. I'm all for pyros. I think they're great. They add to an atmosphere. Smoke bombs can be annoying, but again, it adds to the party. The FAI Cup final there was spectacular. I couldn't see anything for another 10 minutes with all the smoke and all the red smoke and just red all around me. It was great. But there was a few people letting off fireworks too in the stadium, which I was uncomfortable with. It's just, it's wrong.
The worry, Daz, is I suppose that the devil's advocate part of me would suggest that the FAI might find it easier to ban all forms of fireworks or pyro, let's say. Therefore, it's then harder to get actual fireworks into the ground. That's the issue I have, or that they might be thinking as well, because if if you're making a difference between the both, it's more difficult to make that ban, whereas they just find a firework, pyro, end it all. It's easier. However, two things: they don't have pyro in the likes of English soccer, really. So, it kind of gives us a little bit of a selling point. Exactly. It gives us a little bit of a selling point. The other thing is, though, fans do have to take responsibility with the pyro. The majority fans are great. The effort they put in into setting up these displays and the money sometimes they put into setting up these displays. And then, you know, it gets a bad name from one bloody just fecking one onto the pitch just for the laugh so that the stewards have to pick it up or something like that. Another thing there, obviously clubs get fined for that as well. So clubs won't appreciate that. But there must be some way we can, you know, allow pyro in and, you know, stop these aegis from throwing them onto the pitch. If maybe fans around them kind of would see them throwing onto the pitch to kind of, you know, tell them to, you know, point them out to the stewards, basically. You know, people say, I'm not a rat. But, you know, you might be allowed to have pyro in then the following season or, you know, in a couple of weeks or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be terrible.
Exactly.
When I was at the FAI Cup final, even a few Bros games, and people would throw them on the pitch. If it ever came from our home team, to be people like, I'll hear those people going, "Who did that? Why would you do that?" and all. It does frustrate the majority of people. Like, why would you do it? Like, and you're spending a fair amount of quid throwing it onto the pitch. Maybe these people who handed it for free and just screw job people to get them, so they don't care, don't appreciate it. But it really bothers me. Like, you know, as well as that. If someone sees someone throwing a pyro on the pitch, they might have the sense to think, "Oh, sure, I'll let a firework off in the stadium. Sure, if it goes anywhere, sure, it'll be fine," which is a completely wrong attitude to have as well. But I think what you're saying is right, though. I think they probably will outright ban them. Then it's very easy to police. You can't have anything in the ground that's any kind of way at all fireworky. You can't have anything. Whereas if they were to say, "Oh, you can have pyros," and next minute people start finding different kind of fireworks online that says it's a pyro, but really it's a firework, problems will come in then again. I really hope it doesn't come to that, because I really think it adds to the atmosphere, especially, you know, when Rovers won the league for themselves. It was great. They were able to have pyros, they'll have a display. Great for them. When we bet Shamrock Rovers and we're letting off our pyros, brilliant for us. And there's been other displays that the Notorious Blue Boys have had around the ground too, from Bows that I know myself. That's been fantastic to look at. And I'm sure that's why the clubs around the league are the same, and probably doesn't get highlighted as much because obviously there's more eyes and likes of Bows and Rovers. Dundalk maybe at the time, Cork another time. Cork were great for flares and pyros back in the day
as well. Dundalk, Drogheda, they're another team, to be honest. A lot of teams are like that as well, and as you say, for the most part it's great to watch and there isn't an issue. But as you know as well, it only takes one or two to spoil the party, and as you say, the issue could be that the FAI just look at it and just put out a complete blanket ban, so to speak, because it's the easiest thing to do. But I did notice last season, after we came back in, for some reason, in general, bangers and fireworks seemed to be added to the mix an awful lot more when fans were allowed in. Did you notice that?
Yeah, definitely. I've heard a few bangers go off too, which is a bit concerning, because that can be quite dangerous and it's just not nice. It's just, why would you do that? Like, I'd rather... Why not go out and buy 10 pyros and have everyone with flares when we win than having a banger go off and make a noise? Everyone's like, what's that? Like, it's just stupid, carry on. And
it can be scary for kids as well, you have to remember as well. Kids go to these games as well. Even here, the sight of the noise of hearing a banger can be actually scary for a young child as well. So look, all the lights are great. You know myself, like Billy goes to some of the games, he's 10, he's not the smallest, he's not the biggest either, he's 10, and he loves the pyro. But if he was in a stadium in that situation, the Waterford game with the Shamrock Rovers one, I think he would have been scared from that situation. I'm sure many kids were, and you're trying to encourage young kids to want to go to these matches, not thinking I'm afraid to go to the match. So the FAI could be thinking as well, you know, you can see both sides of the argument, but ideally, I think we want to see the pyro there. We just want it to be done correctly. People stop throwing them onto the field, etc., etc. If you see anyone throwing pyro onto a field, call them out. Someone's after, you know, putting a lot of work in, but paying money for that pyro, doing a good display and with their flags or whatever it is, banners, and it takes one aegis just to give that a bad name when everything looks and is done fantastically well. Like,
there's a few avenues, everything you said there, spot on, absolutely, completely agree. A few avenues I think the FAI and clubs could go down. It'd be complicated to set up, but if they did, I think it could work. If they made something like, this is a pyro only section, you can only get pyros off in this section, have more stewards there, have camera face them so they can see if anyone throws one on the pitch. If you get caught, that's it, you're banned for the season or forever, and that's it. If they're let clubs sell them pyros at the ground, safety ones, and put in a specific section where you can let them off again, more stewards, camera on them so people can see them, that's the only section you're allowed to let them off. I think that might work, and it might encourage people to kind of, it might be a revenue stream for the club. It might keep, loud fans and the creative fans in one area, and it might, let people with kids and elderly fans go, I might avoid that area, I might stay a little bit more away from it. And it would be great to look at too. You'd have more like-minded people that would want to do it, and the club get to sell them and make more money. And it's a specifically area for doing it. It's a dedicated area for it. Something like that might work. And then a firework ban, and only that section, and you're allowed to let them off. Something like that might work, but there'd be that'd be complicated to set up at the start. But I feel something like that down the line might work. I think that'd be really good to see, even if they had a section where, I don't know, in Bowes or in Shamrock Rovers, behind the goals, the only section you're allowed to let it off, or I have stewards all around it, camera facing it. So something like that might work, but they definitely add to an atmosphere, and I would really miss them if they went. And I can't remember a game I've been at where you're not thinking about one going off, or we score and one goes off, and it's great. And
it's great for vlogging matches as well. It looks fantastic when you're putting in a vlog, let's be honest about it as well. And ultimately, we do want to see Pyro. I think 9 people out of 10 would like to see Pyro games once done safely. I know the smoke bombs can irritate some people. I get that, especially maybe older people as well. You could have a little bit of breathing difficulty, all that kind of stuff, and they're a bit annoying. But at the same time, I do think those displays look fantastic, and all these ultra groups do fantastic work, I have to say, in putting out these displays. So we'll leave it there, guys. I think we've exhausted most of the avenues. We'd love to know what people think about this. Are you someone that goes to a match, in fact, that brings Pyro, or have you seen people throw the likes of Pyro onto a pitch, and does it annoy you, etc., etc.? Because, as we said, it's something that we want to keep in the culture of our game, because it has become synonymous with the culture of our league, in my opinion, as well. So let us know what you think in the comments, guys. Subscribe if you're new, hit that bell notification button, and like the video if you like the content. Cheers again.